Good morning and welcome to the start of another reading vlog. So this week I thought I would do a sort of themed reading vlog, all to do with continuing some series, because I recently saw that Joanna from Joanna Souza is doing a very chilled readathon which is called Read Your Damn Series-a-thon or something like that, and it's all to do with reading or continuing series. So I will leave a link to Joanna's channel in the description if you would like to find out more. But on my TBR for November, I do have quite a few books within series that I'm in the middle of, so I thought, why don't I try and read them all in a week? I don't know if this is actually going to be successful, but I am currently reading Valour by John Gwynne, which is book 2 in the Faithfull and the Fallen series. So book 1 is Malice, which I read in August, September, and I started this at the end of October, and I'm currently on page 478. So I think I'm around, what, 3/4 of the way through? I think I'm over 2/3 of the way through, and I'm enjoying it so far. I did struggle a little bit with Malice because this series has a lot of characters and it's epic fantasy, it's quite slow paced, and so I have struggled a little bit with this series just in general. However, the actual plot I do think is really interesting because it's all to do with this battle between good versus evil. Basically, sort of within the history of this world, there were these two gods called Elion and Azroth, if I'm remembering them right. And yeah, at the start of book 1, you learn that there are these signs that this ancient prophecy is about to come true. And there's going to be this god war that pitches good against evil. And so it's all very exciting. I think what I like most about this series is definitely the epic battle scenes, because they feel very immersive and they feel very cinematic. Is that a word? It's almost like I'm watching a movie as I'm reading these battle scenes. It's like something out of Lord of the Rings or Game of Thrones or Gladiator. And I don't want to say much more on that because obviously I want to keep this vlog spoiler free. But yes, I am enjoying this. There's a few new POVs that have been introduced in this book that I don't really see the relevance yet, but I feel like I need to read them because they do seem to be contributing to the overall plot. The good thing is though that the chapters in this feel really short. Some of the chapters are literally like a page or 2 or 3 pages long, so I do feel like I'm reading it a lot quicker than I was reading Malice, even though I have been reading this I think for 2 weeks. I am hoping that I'll finish this within the next couple of days because it's 650-ish pages long. And what page did I say I was on? So yeah, I'm on page 478, so I've got what, just over 180 pages to go? Have I worked that out right? It's Monday morning, so you can tell that my brain is just a little bit sluggish right now, but that is my main goal for this week, is to try and finish Valour. The next book that I'm going to pick up hopefully this week is The Mime Order by Samantha Shannon. So this is book 2 in the Bone Season series. I read book 1, I think it was a few months ago again, and I really enjoyed it. I think I gave it 4 stars. The only criticism that I had of the first book was that it felt a bit tropey, and so it was a little bit predictable, but I think the first book came out in 2012 or 2014, around that time, so I'm hoping that the series will become less tropey as it goes on. So this series is set in this world that's sort of a parallel version to our world. It's a paranormal sci-fi fantasy. I should have probably started by saying that, but yeah, the main character that you're following is a girl called Paige Mahoney who's clairvoyant, and in this world clairvoyancy is illegal, and so you have in London these underground criminal networks that are made up of clairvoyants. And at the start of book 1, Paige is captured and she's taken to Oxford, where she learns what happens to clairvoyants when they're captured in this world. And it's really hard to actually talk about the plot without spoilers, but yeah, like I said, it's a paranormal fantasy. The magic system in this world is really interesting but also really complicated, and even when I got to the end of book 1 I was still struggling to understand everything about the magic system. So I'm hoping with this book that it'll become a lot more clear. Otherwise, I don't know what else I'm going to be reading this week. I I think that these two are definitely my priorities. And then I might pick up actually another book that's on my November TBR, which is The Subtle Knife by Phillip Pullman. So this is book 2 in the His Dark Materials trilogy. This was one of my favourite series when I was a kid, and I reread the first book last year, and I've been meaning all year to get round to this, but just I've been putting it off and I've been putting it off because I'm really bad at rereading books. Even though I know that I enjoy rereading, I just keep thinking of all of the new shiny books that I haven't got round to, and so would like to get round to this in November if I can, especially because I watched the TV adaptation, the new BBC adaptation, last year. I think it was actually around the same time that I reread the first book and really enjoyed it, but I would like to reread the books so I can kind of work out the differences between the show and the books. Otherwise though, I am going out for food this evening with my friends who I haven't seen in a good few months actually. I can't actually remember the last time I saw them, but we're going out for Wagamama's, which I'm really excited about because I love Wagamama's. And then also this week, it's my last week working at my current company before I start my new job next week, so that feels a little bit weird, but hopefully I'll get plenty of reading done. And I don't know what else I don't know what else I can say. I'm really bad at introducing vlogs, as you can probably tell, but I will catch up with you once I have reading updates. Hey everyone, and happy Wednesday. So I didn't vlog yesterday because I forgot, but it's now Wednesday and I have finished reading Valour by John Gwynne. I think I'm going to go with 4 stars for this. I haven't ran it through Core Pile yet, but I gave Malice 4 stars, and Malice was probably more like a 3.5, whereas this felt like a 4 stars. I really liked the ending to this, and I also really liked that we learn a little more about the magic in this world, and it's not a fully developed magic system. It's more that there are these magical elements, and one element in particular made me feel a little bit queasy, I'm not gonna lie, and it's this very, very specific thing that whenever I come across it in fantasy or sci-fi, it just makes my skin crawl. And so I hate it, but also I like it because, I mean, in this book, it was used as a way of showing how evil this one character was, and I hated this character, so I guess it worked, and that was, yeah, like a good thing. I'm actually thinking I might pick up the next book soon. Don't know if I mentioned, but this is the second book in a 4-book series, and I do want to pick up the 3rd book soon. I have it on my Kindle, so I might actually start it next week and just do similar to what I did with this book and just read a couple of chapters a day, because I found that really, really helped me. I struggled a little bit to get into this book because, I mean, I only left it, I think, about 3 months from when I finished Malice to picking up Valour, but because it is quite dense, I mean, it's not super dense, but there are a lot of characters and there's a lot of different threads to the plot, and so I think that I would enjoy the rest of the series more if I did read it quite soon, because I would already have everything in my head already. Does that make sense? Good evening. So it's literally a few hours later. I've just finished work and I have so much that I need to get done this evening, because I think I mentioned actually tomorrow is my last day at my current company before I start my new job next week. So I need to pack up all of my equipment and get it ready to take into the office tomorrow, because I've been working from home for the past 18 months. So I have all of like my keyboard and my laptop and my screens and stuff that I need to take back tomorrow. So that's my priority for this evening. But then once I've got myself settled, I am planning to make a start on the Mime Order by Samantha Shannon, which this is the 2nd book in the Bone Season series. I think I might have already talked about what this book is about, but yeah, really excited for this one, especially because of the way that the last book ended, and no spoilers, but yeah, I'm hoping that we get a little more character development in this one, because I did really like the main character Paige, and I felt like the first book did focus a lot on her, and I'm hoping that in this book we get get to learn a little more about some of the side characters. I'm really hoping that I can remember everything from the first book. It's only been a few months since I read it, so I should be fine. But I was thinking that I could maybe try and finish this by Friday. And I don't know if that's a little bit ambitious, but I'm sure that when I read the first book, it was really fast paced and I did read it quite quickly. And so I was thinking that if I read 150 pages tonight and then 150 pages tomorrow and then finish it on Friday, because I think that this is about 500 pages, so that's doable in 3 days. I think I can do that. And then I can start another book over the weekend, because the next book that I want to pick up is also the second book in a series, and that is The Bone Shard Emperor by Andrea Stewart. And I'm really excited for that one because it doesn't come out, I think, until the end of the month, and I have an arc of it through NetGalley, so I really want to pick it up soon. Even if I don't read it in this vlog, then it's definitely going to be the next book that I pick up. So yeah, I just realised actually that this is the Bone Season series, and the other book that I want to pick up is The Bone Shard Emperor. So we're seeing a sort of theme here, but I mean, they're completely different. I mean, actually, no, they are completely different. What am I saying? But yeah, that is my plan for this evening. So I read the first 100 pages of the Mime Order last night. I was going to try and read a little bit more, but I was getting tired and I had to be up early, obviously, to be in work. I mean, I didn't have to be up that early. I usually work from home, and so I can wake up at like 8:45 to start work at 9, and I had to leave by 8:30 this morning to be in the office for 9 because it's like a half-hour drive, and I had an absolute nightmare trying to get my chair in the back of my car. So I had to take back all of my equipment that I'd borrowed, obviously, from work, including my chair, like my desk chair. And I realised that when I got my desk chair from work, my mum picked it up for me because she's got a bigger car. And so trying to get a reasonable sized desk chair into my tiny, tiny Volkswagen Up was not fun. So that was my stress this morning, but it was all sorted. I got everything back there. I finished work and really excited to start my new job on Monday. But yes, rambling, reading updates. So I read the first 100 pages of the Mime Order and really enjoying it so far. I'm actually really glad that this has been a lot easier to get into than I was expecting. It pretty much picks up from where the last book left off, and within the first 50 pages there's a scene where the main character is basically recapping what happened in the first book. And so yeah, that definitely helped because it was enough that it sparked my memory, but not too much that I was thinking, okay, yeah, I get it now, like move on. It was just enough, so that's good. I'm getting the feeling that in comparison to the first book, this book is going to become a little more political, and I'm really interested in that because one thing that I do enjoy reading in fantasy books is politics. So definitely intrigued. I'm going to hopefully read a little more tonight. And then I also, on my way to work, made a start on the audiobook for The Subtle Knife, which, where have I left the book? I was actually planning on reading this physically, but then I was looking through my library app and I noticed that they have the audiobook. So I thought, well, I've just finished an audiobook, so I might start listening to it and then switch to the physical book later. So how far did I get into it? I can't actually remember. The chapters in this are quite long, but yeah, I mean, I might have mentioned already, this is one of my favourite series from when I was a kid, so it gives me that nostalgia feeling. And I like that in this book there's a few different settings that the characters move between, and so I don't think this actually was my favourite book in the series when I read it originally. I think the third book is actually my favourite, and the third book is the book that I remember the least about. I don't know whether actually to wait until the next series of the TV show has come out before I read the third book.
Didn't think you'd say hi to me, let alone walk by me, even though I know I deserve the best. And Just look at you, you make me blush. And I put up my wall so my heart won't get crushed. Cause when you're looking in my eyes.
Remember when I said that I wanted to try and finish this book by Friday, and I wasn't sure if it would be too ambitious or whether it would be even possible? Well, I am currently 250 pages in, and so I'm, like about halfway through, and I don't even feel like I've read half a book in the last 2 days. This is so fast paced and it's moving so quickly, and when I'm reading it, I don't want to put it down. There is just something so addictive about this story that I can't quite put my finger on. And even in this book, I was hoping that we would get a little more explanation of the magic system, which we haven't really yet, but also I don't feel like it's that relevant at the moment to fully understand the magic system, because the plot for this, obviously without spoilers, it's more mysterious. So there's a few different mysteries that I think we're trying to unpick. There's a murder mystery, but also there's some other stuff that's going on, and it is all just very, very mysterious. And I have a few theories, but I don't know if I'm right. I'm really hoping that there's going to be some good twists in the second half of this book, but yeah, flying through it at the moment, and it is getting a little more political, which I think I said is what I was hoping it would become. So I think I've worked out what it is that I love so much about this book and why I'm finding this series so addictive, and that is how it reminds me a lot of books that I used to read when I was in my early 20s. So I was quite a big reader when I was a teenager, but then I moved away to uni and I stopped reading. But I did read books like The Hunger Games and Divergent and those kind of dystopians, and this might actually be categorised as a dystopian, but it reminds me a lot of those books. The feelings that I get when I read this, it gives me that sort of nostalgia. However, this feels much more adult, and I know that Samantha Shannon has spoken before about how it's really frustrating that her books always seem to be categorised as young adult. When I read the first book, I did think that a lot of the tropes that were used in the story were more typical YA tropes. However, the actual atmosphere and how dark and brutal it is, and also all the trauma that the characters go through and how complicated the magic system is, all of those made me feel like it was more adult. And in this book, I am feeling like it is getting more adult. I feel like it's moving away from a lot of the YA tropes that were used in the first book. I still wouldn't say that the story's super unique, but I'm also not finding it really predictable. And so I'm enjoying this a lot more than the first book, and I really liked the first book. So this might end up being 5 stars, or actually no, I've just thought of something that I don't like about this series, and that is the romance. And I don't want to say too much about it because I don't hate the romance, I just feel like it's just not my favourite part of the story. But I mean, I might grow to love it. It's not like I hate it, I can tolerate it when I'm reading. I am now at the end of part 2, so I think I've only got one more part to go. I am going to take a break from reading tonight though, because I'm in the mood to watch a film, and I'm in the mood to watch a Christmas film, even though I know it's only November, but I'm feeling festive, and so I want to take advantage of this feeling, and I'm gonna watch Love Hard, I think it's called, on Netflix. Might order takeaway as well, but then I will hopefully finish this tomorrow, maybe. I have been reading some more of The Subtle Knife as well today while I've been doing chores and stuff, and I went for a walk earlier, and I am over halfway through already. I should probably hold the book up actually so you can see it, but yeah, I'm over halfway through the audiobook now, or nearly halfway through. I know that I read quite a lot earlier, but I am enjoying this, although it's very surreal reading one of your favourite books from when you were a kid as an adult, because there's so much that I'm picking up on in this book that I didn't pick up on when I was a kid, especially all of the religious aspects. I don't remember a lot of that from when I read this series originally, so that's been interesting. So it's now Saturday and I have finished The Mime Order by Samantha Shannon. I actually finished this about 1 o'clock this morning because it got to around midnight and I had about 50 pages to go, and I thought I could go to sleep and finish this in the morning, but also I knew that I wouldn't be able to sleep sleep until I knew how this book ended, because the build up to the finale was so tense, and I really enjoyed it. I like how in the second half of this book we do get a little more explanation around the history of this world, and also you get a little more insight into some of the other powers, which again really enjoyed. I still don't know everything about all of the different powers in this world because there are a lot. I don't know if you're going to be able to see that, but here is basically, yeah, like a chart showing all of the different types of clairvoyance that you have in this world. And so it's a lot to cram into my brain, but I definitely enjoyed this book a lot more than the first book. And I mean, I gave the first book 4 stars. I might have said that already in this vlog. And I gave this 5 stars. I think it's probably more like a 4.5. It came out as a 9 out of 10 in Quarpile, which is literally just about a 5 stars. But I've already reserved the 3rd book from my library because I need to know what is going to happen next, because of the way that this last book ended. I need to know what's going to happen next, because that was intense. I think I am going to end the reading vlog here though, because the only other book that I'm still in the middle of is The Subtle Knife, which I think I mentioned I'm listening to the audiobook. I don't know if I'm going to finish it over the weekend, but I want to get this vlog edited and uploaded today. But yeah, I'm still really enjoying The Subtle Knife. I don't know if I mentioned actually, but this has a full cast of narrators. So I think the main storyline, like the main, can't think of the word, but the main narrator is actually the author, Phillip Pullman. But then you also have other voice actors who are doing all of the different characters, and so as an audiobook I would definitely recommend it. So yeah, thanks for watching. If you've made it this far, let me know in the comments if you've read any of these series and what you thought of them, and don't forget to give this video a thumbs up if you liked it, and click subscribe if you haven't already, and I will see you next time. Bye.